Okay, this is the 2013 Ryerson UAP incident. Now that I'm in the Epstein report, I'm being asked about this quite a bit, and I believe that it will finally break and we will have 0-point energy. That means flying cars and free energy. Brings good back into the world and leaves a post-generational impact. So how are we going to get there? What's the next steps? So what I'm saying, in 2013, there's a Ryerson UAP incident that has a 0-point energy in it. So COLLEEN is abducted. She was a professor at Ryerson teaching linguistics in the English department. RAMONA PRINGLE is a professor in RTA, School of Media Production, Radio, Television Arts. You see, that's the shirt I'm wearing. ROBYN DOOLITTLE is alumni of Ryerson. She finished her journalism degree there. It's in the same building, 80 Gould Street, the RCC. And now she is a Globe and Mail reporter. So the furthest maybe it went, and ROBYN has done the most about it, is Pringle and Doolittle convened the witnesses in her office, and then Doolittle took a statement from them. That went to David Wamsley, the editor of the Globe and Mail, and he's like, well, all of this is true, but the Globe doesn't publish about UFOs, so they quashed it down. Wamsley also knew about Bataclan Theater. There's a 2013 list of forewarnings that goes out, and Wamsley has it, and now he doesn't want to admit that he knew about the theater, and he left all the French to be tortured and die there because, you know, they're cowards. Anyway, how we can prove what I'm saying is if we voir dire these witnesses. And why I picked these 5 is because these women manifested superpowers. In the same way, their chakras opened up, Kundalini traveled up their chakras, and they manifested superpowers. So Shauna Davis, she also goes by SEANA, she's psychic. She helped me come up with the 2013 Bataclan list of warnings that were sent out to Toronto Police, the FBI, the CIA, the Ryerson professors, and the reporters. HAYLEN MCCARTY, she's strong and can pick up a car. MAIJA AHONEN manifested gold coins, 1 ounce Canadian maple leafs that she cashed in and used to buy alcohol. And RAMONA PRINGLE herself can fly and shapeshift. This is what causes her to call Doolittle and to convene these witnesses. And the main one, the one that we should get an honest, candid confession out of, is Colleen DERKATCH, because she was UAP abducted and she had her own flying car that runs on free energy. If she confesses, then that should push the 0-point energy from PUTHOFF into the public domain. And that's my goal. That's what I'm going after. Doolittle does get a DERKATCH confession, and then editor Wamsley quashes it down. Also, what happened in 2013, the Dean of AFCAD, Charles Falzon, he said, I can do an emergency broadcast from the RTA studio. Ryerson is the backup studio for the CBC. So he has the whole list of forewarnings from 2013, the France Bataclan Theater list. And then they chicken out and don't do the emergency broadcast. And this warning also went to CBC. Jill Dempsey is a witness. The whole school knew about this. These 5 women are in the class of RTA, class of 2015. A lot of this is an open lecture. There's 200 witnesses. A media production program, the story of the century is right under their nose, and they say nothing. They just say nothing. What they produced was toilet humor. Anyway, my more important witnesses then, if we go all the way back to 1990, on the Art Bell show, live to air during open lines, I told Mr. Bell about 9/11, the World Trade Center, the building will be dustified and will go down in a controlled demolition. They will blame it on Osama bin Laden. It's an inside job, a false flag. The FBI then went and asked Lisa Lyon about all of this. And this goes out live to air to, you know, 20 million listeners on the Art Bell Show. Ingo Swann and Edgar Mitchell are deceased. They would be witnesses. Swann did know about 9/11. That's why the remote viewing program stayed alive. They wanted to put it in a movie. Alexander and Bigelow quashed it down and gagged Puthoff. Puthoff is not talking. And why the remote viewing program stayed open is on that day that the Senate Intelligence Committee was assessing it, Puthoff went in the smoky back room and said, "Gentlemen, terrorism." And then he gave them a piece of paper that had the 9/11 predictions on it. And then the head senator said, "We will have to keep the program open then." And of course, Puthoff is gagged, and they still pulled off 9/11. No one's hanged for treason, and I've correctly identified Colonel John Alexander and Robert Bigelow as insiders who implemented and executed the 9/11 false flag attacks, and they should hang for treason. And my other witness would be Frank Stronach, the head of MAIJA, who's also friends with Bill Clinton, and he told Bill Clinton on the golf course in Aurora. So, witnesses who I still have alive, but they're gagged, Hal Puthoff and Jacques Vallée. They know that zero-point energy is working. They know how we got it. They know about the Ryerson incident. Like I said, Puthoff is gagged. He's not talking. When he does a Joe Rogan interview, what he said is just minutiae and inconsequential. It wasn't important. Rogan didn't even know enough to ask him about zero-point energy, which is the most important thing, and it will break. I know for a fact it will break. It's bound to happen. It's just a matter of time. So like I said, if you go to justice.gov/Epstein and you type in the keywords either zero-point energy or my name, Albert Venczel, you will get the PDF file that they're calling Dataset 9, and somehow Gloria Epstein and Jeff Epstein have the same last name, so when FBI put it into the Epstein report that this Ryerson UAP incident happened. And what I want now is for the feds to come out and cross all of these witnesses and put zero-point energy into the public domain. So what I'm saying did happen. There's correct predictions going all the way back to 1990. There's the woman who manifested superpowers. Did anyone go to strength test HAYLEN? Did anyone go to psychic test SHAPESHIFT? The whole school knew about this. Why are they saying that? Why are they saying nothing? Why did they clam up? Falzon knows about this. Walmsley knows about this. And then I'm saying there is the zero-point energy from UAP contact. Colleen did have her own flying car that runs on free energy. So let's just backtrack a bit. And the correct predictions in 1990, it's on the Art Bell Show. Ingo Swann knows about it. Puthoff tries to put it in a movie. It gets quashed by the evil lizard person, reptilian shapeshifter, Colonel John Alexander. They can also time travel in that they worship Lucifer. It's the vast Luciferian conspiracy is correct. 2006, I'm at Las Vegas at the IRVA conference. I give out a whole list of new predictions. Fukushima, Torrey Stafford, BP oil spill, Russell Williams. Alexander comes and takes the hard copy and gets quashed down. And nobody says anything. Paul Smith just clams up and his lips are sealed. Same with Ed Dames. Then 2013 at Ryerson, with these 5 women, we come up with the Bataclan list of warnings. You know, Charlie Hebdo, Bataclan Theater, Bastille Day, Pulse Nightclub, Incel Danforth MacArthur in Toronto. That I sent to the Toronto Police, Chief Mark Saunders, and he's like, "You're harassing us. This is not our catchment area to do anything about it. Stop harassing us," and he dismisses it, and all the victims end up dead. And then what happens is that the city launches a review into the police negligence and incompetence, and this is where it is Judge Gloria Epstein, the review into Bruce MacArthur missing people, and they call me. They find all these warnings I'm sending to the police. Daz and Sandler call me to come to their law office on Bay Street and give a statement. During my statement, this is in 2019, I correctly predict coronavirus, long before there's any lockdown, long before anyone ever heard of bat soup in Wuhan. and the mass vaccinations. The mass vaccinations are also in there. I just directly say to NAS. There's also Ukraine Jet 752, Kobe Bryant, and Gabriel Wortman. Name, date, and place. Then the review comes out, and they censor the report. like I was never even there. They censor their whole report. All I get back from it is an email from NAS, and it says, well, we feel real sorry about this. The board of Toronto Police owns the review's information. Go complain at them. Don't complain at our law office. NAS, by the way, is now a prosecutor in Brampton. She's a Hindu woman. And Mark Sandler, the lead lawyer, he scooted off with his $5 million and is retiring. And I hear he's somewhere in the Caribbean drinking pina coladas. He walked off with the $5 million in a very cowardly, very shameful way. And then the commission in Nova Scotia, the review, knows about Gabriel Wortman. They don't even get him arrested. They let him go on his mass shooting spree. The commission in Nova Scotia asks Mr. Mark Sandler and NAS and Epstein about this. And they claim lawyer's privilege and refuse to say anything. And then from that, I went and gave a deputation at City Hall, both to Mayor John Tory and during his regime, and now it's Mayor Olivia Chow. They let you give a 5-minute deputation, and in the 5 minutes at the City Hall, I say, oh, this is what happened. And then the FBI picked that up, and that is what ends up in the Epstein report. And I believe why is because an FBI agent wants this to break, so they snuck it into the Jeffrey Epstein files. But I'm actually talking about Gloria Epstein. They both happen to be Jews, and they have the same last name. They probably are related to each other. But in any case, my deputation from City Hall gets into the Epstein files because Jeff Epstein and Gloria Epstein have the same last name, and somewhere I have an ally in the FBI, and they took my deputation from City Hall and they put it into the Epstein files. And what I'm saying now is that the feds need to come and cross-examine my Ryerson witnesses, put all of them in a room and let them talk, and strength test HAYLEN, psychic test SHAPESHIFT, put the 2013 warnings in the Epstein files, put the 2019 virus warnings in the Epstein files, 1990 9/11, 2006 Fukushima, and BP oil spill. All these warnings went to the Toronto Police. Ryerson is witness, reporters are witness, and guess what? The FBI are witness. Every single warning went to the FBI. They have a copy of it. Why don't you put that in the Epstein report? Why don't you show that to the whole world? Take an act on new predictions, hold the past negligence accountable, including the treason on 9/11, for which there is a death penalty, Alexander should hang, and place 0-point energy into the public domain. And what I'm saying is, one of the people who did the most about it is Robyn Doolittle, reporter at the Globe and Mail. Alison Chiasson, reporter at the CBC. She was cross-examined by the review. Mark Sandler cross-examined her. Why? Because she has the 2013 France warnings. Jill Dempsey, Ryerson CBC. She had the France warnings. The whole school at Ryerson knew about this. Reporters do come to Ryerson. They interviewed those 5 women. Walmsley quashed it down, the editor. And then Falzon, the dean of FCAD, he promised me he would do an emergency broadcast in 2013. Then somehow he chickens out and he squanders the information, and all the victims end up dead. They could have arrested MacArthur in 2013 when Kinsman was still alive. They could have prevented Bataclan Theater when I warned about it in 2013. And so what I'm saying is I want the feds to come back and interview my witnesses, take an act on new predictions, hold the past negligence accountable, and place 0-point energy into the public domain. And the UAP stuff, it goes back to INGO SWANN, 357 The Bowery, New York City. What happened at... Hold on, the camera's flashing at me. This camera has a copyright claim at 15 minutes. It splits into 2 files, and that's why it was flashing at me, so I had to go and press some buttons. Where my train of thought was, is that what happened at Ryerson is the second generation of remote viewing experiments. In 1972, SWANN and Edgar Mitchell made contact, UAP contact, on the Apollo 14 ESP experiment. A textbook on zero-point energy goes to Hal Puthoff and Jacques Vallée at SRI. They reverse engineer the zero-point energy. It's working now. They got it to work. And then Alexander and Bigelow suppressed it and gagged Puthoff. So what happens in 2013, I know how SWANN does his remote viewing stuff. So I'm the mediator who sent COLLEEN to the other planet, the advanced civilization. They integrate her into the society. When she comes back, she has telepathy. Then Ramona and ROBYN come and convene the witnesses in a room, take the witness statements. I've heard that Doolittle has a video of HAYLEN picking up a car, even though I haven't seen it. Doolittle does have the 2013 France warnings that Shauna Davis helped come up with. And then it gets quashed by her editor, Walmsley. And then at the Ryerson level, it gets quashed by the dean of FCAD, Falzon. This is also an open lecture. He tells me he will do an emergency broadcast because the CBC is doing nothing. And then he chickens out and he doesn't do it. And then it goes to the review. And Sandler and Naz prove what I'm saying. And then Epstein censors it. And never trust the Toronto police. They are liars. Actually oinking pigs. They will roll around in the mud. They would squander free energy that benefits all of humanity to cover up their past negligence. And that's Chief Mark Saunders. They always lie about everything. They're very dishonest people, the Toronto police. And my other witnesses are gagged. Puthoff is gagged. He's not talking. SWANN and Mitchell are deceased. Art Bell is deceased. Lisa Lyon is a witness, but she's also not talking. My witnesses are gagged. Frank Stronach, the head of MAGNA, told Bill Clinton and the golf course in Aurora in the 1990s, because I told Stronach about 9/11, and he's friends with Bill Clinton's. And then nothing happens. They're not talking. Nobody says anything. So now that it got into the Epstein report, I want to raise as big a stink about this as possible. Put all my witnesses in a room, let them talk, and put zero-point energy into the public domain. And I know the zero-point energy will break within my lifetime. It's bound to happen. It's going to break. That's in the Epstein files. To me, is a good sign, because now we have a door open where we can go back to Ryerson, cross-examine my witnesses, and specifically ask, COLLEEN, what do you know about zero-point energy? Do you also have the cure for cancer and you're also hiding that from humanity? At least be ashamed of yourself. The Globe and Mail proved what I'm saying, then Walmsley quashed it. Falzon knows exactly what I'm talking about. The head of a media production program, and they don't say a word about the story of a century right under their nose. So anyway, like what I'm saying, this is what happened. I give a deputation after the Epstein report did me dirty. Mayor Olivia Chow lets me talk for 5 minutes. Somehow the FBI picked up that deputation and stuck it into the Epstein files. And the judge, Gloria Epstein, has the same last name as Jeffrey Epstein. In any case, my deputation from City Hall made it into the Jeff Epstein files. And I'm trying to get the feds to go back to Ryerson and voir dire these witnesses and take and act on correct predictions, hold the past negligence accountable, including the 9/11, and place the zero-point energy into the public domain. Put COLLEEN, Ramona, ROBYN, those 5 women, Shauna, HAYLEN, MAIJA, into a room, let them talk, and then you know exactly what I'm talking about. They were abducted. They did manifest superpowers. These events are reproducible. We have zero-point energy right now, and it's being suppressed. And Hal Puthoff knows exactly what I'm talking about.